Her son, Nyron Kyle Davis, was an innocent bystander who was caught in the crossfire. She said Davis had gone to Partners Bar at the corner of Church Street and the Southern Main Road on Saturday night to watch a FIFA World Cup match when gunmen opened fire on a group of people outside the establishment. The 71-year-old said her son, the youngest of her 5 children, was not the intended target. She is now urging law enforcement to get a grip on crime, saying her son was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
The crime is disgusting. I mean, alarming too, you know. Everybody have a gun and everybody wants to be, they don't care who, they get monies and they just, you know, they go and shoot up a place, they care who, innocent, guilty, children or whoever, they just shooting and things. And my son come and get in that situation. Innocent young man. Have a bright future.
Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander has confirmed that he was informed of a purported threat to Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarat and made the necessary recommendations to increase his security. Responding to reports that Padarat's security detail was strengthened, Alexander said he felt that the intelligence shared was credible enough to warrant such a response.
And if something comes to my attention that needs urgent attention, it will be dealt with. It happens to the minister, it happens to the public, however it is. So yes, a lot of communication took place, and it is necessary that we think that it should be done now because of what we have unearthed.
The minister did not disclose further information on the matter. Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara says threats against his 2 daughters will not deter him from going after criminal elements, calling the move a cowardly attempt at intimidation. The threat, which came through the police 999 hotline on July the 11th, warned that if criminals could not get to the Top Cup, they would target his family. Guevara says he remains committed to his oath of office and will continue to do his job without fear or favor. Assistant Commissioner Richard Smith says the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service stands firmly behind Guevara and will not allow criminal elements to create fear among officers. This has been Headline News. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Today, Tuesday, the 14th of July, 2026. Lots to unpack inside today's Morning Brew. We are going to get some commentary from Garvin Hira and former Commissioner Gary Griffith concerning this breaking and developing story. Death threats being sent towards the Top Cup, and as much as many might be critical of some of his decisions and the way the top brass of the TTPS is conducting themselves. This is unacceptable. We cannot have this against a public official. He's just doing his job, obviously. It's a job that comes with, again, lots of criticism, lots of analysis. But clearly he's trying his best, and to know that threats are coming his way. But then again, you know, that's the nature of that particular space, and any public official, any part of the world will tell you that when you're doing your job, and more so when you're doing it well and you're mashing people corners, we'll say in Trinidad and Tobago, threats will come your way. I myself would have been on the receiving end of threats, and it's not a nice thing. It's one that ruffles your spirit. It got you in a kind of tailspin, wondering where this coming from, why somebody want to do something. But again, he looks like a tough guy. We will treat with this and some of the other concerns happening via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. So sit back, relax. It's Tuesday. Not as wet as yesterday. We understand at least it's going to clear up for a good part of the week. So we give thanks for that. Let's get the ball rolling. JW signing on. It's your Morning Brew. Yes, indeed. Running into your morning on this Tuesday, Jason Williams signing on with the esteemed team here at CNC3 Level 4 on St. Vincent Street. As mentioned, threats being sent towards the top cop and his family. And you know, he's a man of words. Clearly, you could tell he's one that very articulate, and he would have said, in true Trinidad and Tobago style, he said, "Go Pollock is not see Pollock," meaning that, you know, don't come around me with that kind of nonsense. And he seems, as mentioned, like a no-nonsense kind of guy. Didn't really get just one conversation, or probably two brief conversations with him. Didn't have him on his set just yet. But as it relates to this development, I'm sure contingency plans already in place, or clearly already a highly protected public official. But I'm sure no stone will be left unturned. And this is not only towards the security of the top cop. We're talking here top officials. We're hearing of government ministers. I mean, listen, as mentioned before, once you put yourself in the public light, especially in these political sphere and leadership roles, these things happen. You know, you are briefed, you are given a particular warning and the detail that will give you a sense of security. People drop you at home, pick you up, move with you. Even judges, certain top folks within the judiciary, they also go through this kind of security measure and security presence. You see, he says there, "Go Pollock is not see Pollock." He said, "Come after me, all you want, but to threaten me to leave the bosses," well, you know, you saw the quote there. So I saw that in the news last evening. So, you know, Guevara is not a man who is going to take this lightly. And we're going to get some commentary on this development. As mentioned, former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith, he would have given us a talking point that we will play during the course, and regional security expert Gavin Hira also weighed in on this developing story. I'm also seeing here via the front page another one of the top men within the security apparatus, this time the Commissioner of Prisons, is sent on leave amid complaints that Hadid, who is inside via the PDO, the story that is grabbing attention every single day. As a matter of fact, I think they're heading to court today to treat with that matter to see if they can get an early release, or at least they can get a judgment on the judgment. But all this is in play to get an early release. But while he's inside, there are claims he's getting VIP treatment in jail. Yes, that story develops on page 5. Now, I don't know if jail have a VIP section. I doubt it highly. Once your liberty is taken away, even if you get a proper bed with a fan and probably cable TV, I still feel your home, your bed in your room will always be the better option. However, this story here, it's an interesting read. It's on page 5. Again, I'm guided here by the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, and coming out of this development, he's been sent on 4 months leave. Very interesting story. It's right below the development with the Commissioner of Police with the death threats. This story is right below. I implore you to get your copy of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today. Also on the front page, Oscar B. laid to rest yesterday. Amidst all the rain, you know, he was sent home by fans, colleagues, but most importantly, his family. And I heard his daughter, she spoke really well, very articulate young lady. She made mention of the many names, artists, performer, extraordinaire, you know, Tobago, son of the soil. But she said the one he cherished the most was the role and function of being a dad. And you can see the emotion there, very raw on one of the family members. Oscar was a good one, man. He was one of those real consummate, I mean, when I tell you, top level performers. He would come into any space. I worked alongside him a lot of times for the corporate functions I would host. I want Oscar to step in. He will command the crowd, get people dancing. In the most, sometimes, you know, those corporate events could be a bit starchy, a bit stiff. He will make people, well, I used to find a way to get people to let down their guard, but Oscar used to take it to a whole next level with the music, have people dancing, doing the most butterfly, crack a little joke in between, I had no idea Oscar wasn't well. I would have done a show with Oscar within recent time, and it was normal, cordial, fun interaction. So to hear of the fact that he was not well, and then subsequently the news we all heard of his passing, you know, Oscar, we just want to thank Oscar's family for allowing us to get a little piece of him. And by all means, from his start back in the day on Party Time, this man was around since Party Time. You know, we're talking Nescafe, Party Time in Upper Level Club, early 90s. I think he was doing a shadow rendition, lip sync. From then right up until current day, Oscar, he's been a major part of the cultural landscape, the entertainment landscape, one of the lead singers of Byron Lee and the Dragonaires in their heyday, Soca Butterfly, Ting, I mean, come on. So, later rest, may he rest in peace, and we thank Oscar for his contribution, a son of the soil and a proud Tobago son also. Tobago should feel very happy for Oscar's contribution. Let's head to the back page, because listen, we are back to the action. That's the big deal today. And the Bacchanal already start off the pitch, as I mentioned yesterday, with the former Spanish, or the Prime Minister from Spain, making some remarks about France answering back. Lamine Yamal, that's a name that's kind of tie people up, huh? Because people be like, be saying Yamin Lamal, but it's really Lamine Yamal. I remember it. I just say, you know what, yam is something I enjoy in a good soup and a nice blue food, so I say yam, so I remember the Yamal. But yeah, he would have held some talk. So these are clearly, you know, it's really the changing of the guards in football. We would have had Messi and Ronaldo on the world stage for many years. Messi is still in the conversation. Ronaldo's already home somewhere on a beach taking a tan. But in terms of the star boys, these two will dominate for years. I mean, Mbappe already a megastar. Yamal coming as one of the youngsters, stepping up, real tremendous talent. I mean, a magician with the ball at his age, maturity beyond his years. And then you have Haaland also in the conversation. He was sent home last week. So, you know, I'm with France on this one, but then it's a World Cup. Anything could happen, especially in this World Cup. So, just looking forward to a great game later on today. Semi-finals, business end of the tournament. May the best team win. But I like France. I love for France to go all the way. Let's head to the brief on this Tuesday morning. That's right, Dragon Boat style. Having a time. Shiga Ramos, you know, I never Dragon Boat, you know, it looks like lots of fun. So I feel that day I must really take a little tush, as they say. So, good luck. Well done. Shiga Ramos, always a place busy with activity. You could hike, you could cycle, you could row. If you're a fitness or a nature lover, Shiga Ramos is the place. We are so blessed. And I'm seeing here where Calypso Rose honored at the Lincoln Center. That's right, Calypso Rose joined on stage by Soca King, Marshall Montano, and members of the 2G and Friends during the 50th anniversary celebration of the CCADI. This, of course, happened. Now, that's the Caribbean Cultural Center for African Diaspora Institute. Yeah. Rose, what a sweetheart, what a living legend. And not as mobile as before, obviously, as you can see, she's in a wheelchair, but still, just like Sparrow, full of voice, all faculties together. She could still recall some of the great stories. And Rose, well, we've been blessed, and still are extremely blessed to have someone like Rose in our presence. So, well done, and kudos to Marshall, always taking time out of schedule to check in with Rose, you know. He understands his role and function as the king and one of the major ambassadors of the art form. We're going to take the pause. We're going to come back and get in real time some perspective from Gary Griffith, former commissioner, so he also could relate to being threatened and being in that particular seat. But also Gavin Hero will weigh in. Let's hear from these two gentlemen after the break.
Love eating spicy food, but soon after, that familiar discomfort begins. heartburn, acid reflux, and bloating. Introducing Peptica Gel, formulated with aluminum hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, and simethicone to help neutralize excess acid. It's sugar-free with no chalky aftertaste and a pleasant orange flavor. Peptica Gel works fast to relieve heartburn, acid reflux, gas, and bloating, so you can feel comfortable again and get back to enjoying life. Peptica Gel, get the relief you need today. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Life. What a wonderful journey we're on. Each stage is unique. And at Tata Life, we not only understand, but also appreciate that you'll have different needs at different times. So trust us to protect you and yours with our comprehensive range of financial planning solutions to ensure that you never, ever have to worry. To learn more, contact a Tata Life advisor or visit tatalife.co.tt today. For the many stages of your life, Tata Life, a member of the Ansa McCall Group.
For me, people matter most. It's the same if you hail from Moruga, where I'm from, Mount Irvin, Scarborough, or Port of Spain. As a journalist, I'm focused on building that connection between Trinidad, the region, and the world. Most importantly, I want always to use my voice as a powerful weapon to break down barriers wherever they exist. This is why we are where you are.
Welcome back to the Morning Brew. Now, with recent reports of death threats against public officials, serious concerns have been raised about the safety of the said public officials and the broader implications of national security. However, former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith says this is nothing new. Let's hear from Gary.
Not at all. It goes with the territory. The situation of death threats being made to public officials, this has been going on for decades upon decades, both at home and abroad. The U.S. president, in fact, he gets death threats, dozens of death threats on a daily basis. In my capacity as military attaché to Prime Minister Pandey, aide to President Robinson, intelligence revealed death threats on both individuals, and I had to put extra security measures on both individuals. Same when I was National Security Advisor and Minister of National Security, intelligence revealed death threats to the Honorable Prime Minister and other government officials. As Commissioner of Police, Special Branch did a report stated that I was the highest risk in the history of Trinidad and Tobago to be possibly assassinated, with over 43 death threats to myself and my family, and it has continued. So this is what you're seeing now of death threats to politicians, to the family of the Commissioner of Police and so forth. This has been going on for decades. What I think is the difference now is that, unlike in the past, where these situations would actually be kept secret, and it will be and you will do further intelligence to verify whether the threats will actually take place, and if so, you neutralize the possibility of that threat. What is happening now is that it has been made known to the public, and by every time there's a death threat, it is known to the public. It is given the perception that this is a new concern of national security, but this has been going on for decades. I think what should be required is for the relevant law enforcement agencies to ascertain whether the threats are valid, and if so, simply neutralize the threat rather than having, and every single time there's a threat, have it known, make it known.
You know, when next I talk to Gary, I want him to explain to me what he means by neutralizing the threat, because I know in military terms, when somebody says they're going to neutralize something, it's more or less to finish them off, to send them packing, send them home, talking 6 feet under. So I probably, you know, this again is just some commentary. I would love, when I speak to him again, I'll take a little note of that to ask him if he could elaborate on what he means by neutralizing the threat, because I know there's supposed to be a particular way of doing things in a particular process. I don't know if threatening a public official means automatically that person must be, again, listen, I don't want to put words in his mouth, that was his commentary, but also commenting, and I will make a note, remind me to make a note and ask Gary that, but also commenting on recent incidents. Regional security expert Gavin Hira says, this moment calls for more in-depth, deeper dive into how we view national security. Let's hear from Gavin Hira.
The recent threats against public officials should be treated as a matter of serious concern. Zero tolerance. Whether these threats are ultimately proven to be credible or not, that's not us to do, or in our standing so to do, but they represent a worrying trend, and you can see it where intimidation is increasingly being used now to influence public decision making. And if this is left unchecked, this has the potential to undermine public confidence in our democratic institutions and embolden, strengthen, and increase criminal elements. Secondly, this does require us to broaden our understanding of national security. National security is no longer confined to borders and terrorism. It must also include the protection of those entrusted with governing the country. However, that does not mean public officials should become inaccessible. I'm against that. As a matter of fact, the objective is not to become, not to be in isolation, but smarter protection driven by intelligence-led threat assessments, enhanced protective security measures, for instance, secure communications and appropriate risk management processes, risk, threat, and vulnerability assessments. We must preserve now democratic accessibility while ensuring that those who serve the public can do so safely and without fear of or intimidation. And more importantly, those who have entrusted to provide personal protection for our state officials must now ensure that our training, our readiness, our preparedness, our resources are all intact and upgraded and following international best practices, because we've seen now where the environment has shifted, and we also have to be shifted now in readiness and to ensure that we are operating at a very...
So Gavin Hira there, regional security expert and former commissioner of police, Gary Griffith, weighing in on this very fluid situation. It's, as Gary mentioned, nothing new. This is part, I would imagine, unfortunately, of the territory of leadership, especially when you're in that security phase. You're mashing people corn, making decisions that shaking the cage, as it will. So threats will come. I guess is how one deals with it, how you treat with the potential threat. And as I would have mentioned before, when I speak to Gary again, just to get some clarification on the neutralizing, as it were, he said, of the said threat. So thanks a lot there, gentlemen, for the commentary. Let's deal with the data center discussion. So much is happening, so much is swirling in the public domain. I want to bring someone who could give some clarity, telecoms consultant. Mike Singh, our friend there from Guyana, he's going to step in next to tell us about this proposed data center for TNT and what it means. What are the implications, the ups, the downs, and everything in between? Mike Singh, he joins me next.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by two silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, your heart deserves better.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3. Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
Welcome back, telecoms consultant Mike Singh, our friend there from the land of many waters, Guyana. He joins us for this very important conversation concerning the data center. So much is swirling around in the public domain, and I would love for you to give us just some information based on your expertise, your understanding of this sphere, so that we could have a much informed perspective concerning this data center development. Mike Singh, great to see you. It's been a long time. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, and hope you're doing well, and good to be back with the lovely, friendly, affable, ever so optimistic people of the beautiful Twin Island Republic, where there's never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. If there's one thing I do know about data centers, AI data centers, two things. It takes a massive capacity to keep that particular entity going, and it's coming straight from the grid, because we don't have renewable energy here really in that way. And I know to keep the technology and the chips cool, lots of water. So I know we're dealing with water, we're dealing with electricity to keep this particular data center up, running, and functional. What's your take on this breaking story, Mike Singh?
Well, it's like hitting you out of left field. Let me begin. As you know, my illustrious background for more than 30 years has been in the global telecoms, ICT, and innovation sector. I started out my career, just for the public's info, with AT&T back in 1993. I've worked with AT&T, I've worked with Tata Communications, I've worked with Level 3, I've worked with Verizon, all in senior global leadership roles. And also in Afghanistan, hence I'm wearing this pakul out of solidarity for the 5th anniversary of the sad fall of the government of Afghanistan. And data centers come in all sizes and flavors. You can't give a size 11 pair of shoes to someone that can only wear a size 4. And I think that's the case of Trinidad and Tobago. Unwittingly, unknowingly, the powers that be have walked into a situation where there was very little or no due diligence. It seems that the whole data center sector now in Trinidad is being managed by VOOPs. I think that's a Trini term, VOOPs, whatever it means.
Well, there's more VAPs. We say VAPs, probably VOOPs might be more.
VOOPs,
yeah.
Yes. And
VAPs,
so
VOOPs.
I insulted the VAPs or VOOPs. I saw a video of a sea otter trying to escape or get out of town. The otter must be aware that its habitat is going to be drained and it will be dead, so it's beating a hasty retreat. But seriously, Trinidad and Tobago cannot and does not need not one, but let alone two hyperscaler centers.
Well, let me get some of the pros and some of the cons. Let's start with the pros, because I mean, if it's one thing with Trinidad and Tobago, we are able to rise to the occasion. We might not have the capacity right now, but I wonder if we could put our ducks in a row if indeed they really turn the soil and get the ball rolling. But let's deal with the pros, and then we'll definitely give you a chance to treat with the cons, because I think you have some cons to bring to us. But we'll start with the pros.
It's great to transform the economy from that of being a petro state or being fossil fuel, addicted, to one of the knowledge-based economy. That's good. You will have tech transfer. You will have new training, a new shift in thinking. People will have to start thinking more about bytes and bits versus, brick and mortar barrels of oil. So it's great to have this kind of enabling industry that will allow you to prepare for transition towards a knowledge-based economy and what I consider the fourth industrial revolution, which brings together artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, blockchain, and a whole sort of other things. You will talk here about data gravity, data science, as I said, AI. You'll have AI scientists. You're going to have a lot of focus upon big data, data mining. So, as I did mention, the fourth industrial revolution, which could lead to a lot of things, robotics, just to mention a few, and it could spark a whole ecosystem of research, development, and innovation. But in order to get there, you have to lay the groundwork in terms of human capital. Training young people must begin today and not until the data center is built. So it's an entire sequential course of events that you have to embrace. In the case of Trinidad, you'll have to do it in what I consider parallel tracks. And these tracks are going to be very important. The worst thing you want to do is to build a facility and you do not have adequately trained, certified, qualified, competent personnel to manage it or to be part of the whole evolving ecosystem. And that is going to call for shift in thinking, shift in looking at the future. If you've been all your life in oil and gas, going from fossil fuel-based economy towards a knowledge-based economy, it takes a lot of doing. Otherwise, you're going to end up like the Saudis with their ill-fated NEOM project.
So walk me through some of the cons, because obviously I know there are concerns in the environment, as I mentioned. It's going to take lots from the grid and lots of water for this to be functional. Walk me through the environmental concerns and some of the cons.
Well, the water, you do need water for cooling, but you have natural gas. I've read, I've seen interviews with the government of Trinidad and Tobago and its partner Shell for the gas on the Dragoon field, which will be piped into your big Atlantic LNG facility or something like that, and then it becomes commercially available to NGC for downstream energy processing and to sell even to the people that are going to generate the power or to the data center itself. But Trinidad and Tobago does not need a hyperscaling data center. You don't generate that amount of traffic. I can tell you that. Data centers that are what I consider hyperscalers, these are the type of data centers I think you're going to find in places in our region in Latin America. You will find them in the US, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, and Argentina. You must have, conceivably, for it to be economically viable, over 50 million horses. That is an addressable market. And the question I have to ask are the following. Can TNT be a hyperscaling AI data center location based upon available power supply, cooling demands, and flood mitigation measures? You guys are prone to flooding in the areas identified for establishing the data center. And data centers and floods don't go hand in hand. Let's talk about security attacks, possible terror attacks upon the data center. And this brings into focus Trinidad had a coup once with links to Islamic radicals. So that's going to be a legitimate issue. How much security can the government of Trinidad adequately provide against such a massive facility of this size? And where are the numbers, Jason, in terms of exabytes to support the cloud computing needs and demands of the data center? Who are your off-takers? And then we have, where is the demand forecast to support not one, but two hyperscaler facilities? And this list is quite onerous. And who on the Prime Minister's team, I beg to ask, is eminently qualified to provide straightforward answers to the taxpayers, to the general public, to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and even to any investors? And we need expert answers, Jason, not something dug out of AI. Trinidad and Tobago needs two superscalar centers like it needs another rainy season or an earthquake.
So let me ask, obviously, you know, every government's position, and this is since I've always said it on the program, since I've been in khaki pants and tall socks. We talk in primary school years ago. They talk about diversification, they talk about, you know, moving us away from the oil and gas. Right, so
I'm
you see,
still wearing khaki like you.
Right, so we're still in that kind of, you know, khaki color brown, right? So
yes.
I wonder if this is part of the government's thrust to move us, as you said, away from the oil and gas dependence, to put us in a different direction, to get us on that digital highway. But even more so, I wonder if something else is at play on the back end, because this clearly didn't come out of thin air. There would have been negotiations and conversations happening beyond our level for this to now come into the public domain, for the ball to be ruling, as it were, for this data center. And a lot of people, you know, they're weighing in, but many don't really understand what's coming. There are many in the country. People who in IT, like yourself, they will know, but the average person, you go downtown right now, you go down San Fernando, they you know, this is a learning curve for many, even for myself, to be quite honest. Ultimately, will this bring value to Trinidad and Tobago, or will this put us in a, as we say, a bind?
I think if managed right, and you have the right type of data center, it will bring value to the country, to the economy, to the long-term economic development, tech development, and prospects and rising living standards for the people. But it has to be managed right from the inception. As my late grandmother used to say, you can't bend an oak tree at the age of 85. So it's like a child. You've got to inculcate and establish, you know, discipline, proper management, and so on, before the project balloons out of control and AI takes control of the country itself. But a large data center like this is going to create huge demands and strains. For one, you will need a separate grid. You cannot tie that data center to the existing general grid that TNTech manages for services delivery to the general populace. And the general populace can be segmented into two. The average person at home using electricity for daily household chores or their home businesses, and then the small to medium-sized industries, such as your manufacturing, like your SM Jalil down in Otahit in San Fernando area, they will be impacted. Because if you use that one grid that's dedicated, set solely for domestic use, you can have problems. Let's say there is a catastrophic failure, and that grid goes out, Jason, and then the data center goes out. That is going to be a huge problem. The data center owners and operators will now find itself facing massive lawsuits, resulting, if not in billions, trillions of dollars for downtime, for people losing. Of course, everything is backed up to the cloud. But even 1 second of being off the global grid can have devastating, immeasurable effects upon the health, the safety, and the operational efficiency of the entire global ecosystem. So there needs to be proper and careful planning. You need a separate grid. Then water. I've never heard of anywhere in the world you're just gonna draw water from a lagoon or a pond or a river and pipe it to cool the data center. In 2000, my signature was the third that established the Network Access Point of the Americas, which is the only Tier 5 data center in the southern United States. At the time, I worked for Tata Communications, and I signed on their behalf. It was a project shepherded by the then governor of the state of Florida, Jeb Bush, brother of former U.S. President George W. Bush. And it involved the Florida East Coast Corporation, which is really the entity that was established by Henry Flagler, the great developer of what you today see in Florida from Miami to Jacksonville. And why they got involved, they were able to use the railway rights to lay the fiber. And this facility included the city of Miami, Miami-Dade County. It involved Florida International University, Miami-Dade College. It involved, as I said, the city of Miami, the Chamber of Commerce. It involved all of the common carriers, AT&T, Verizon, Deutsche Telekom.
The full 9 yards.
That's right. We had to get, and Florida Power and Light.
You know, Mike, you said something just now there that kind of sparked a whole different thought process in my mind, because we're already living in that phase where you mentioned if anything was to go wrong with the center, it will amount to massive losses. We are so dependent now on the technology, on being online. And it takes me into another part of your expertise, which is security and warfare. And we find ourselves already seeing drones being utilized, all kind of different robots and stuff on the battlefield. And I wonder if cyber warfare, digital warfare, based on the current climate and where we are as a humanity, will definitely, in a way, almost inevitably be part of our existence going forward. Because if someone can control the grid, someone can control a data center, someone can control the internet, that is a powerful position to have,
Yes, I'm happy to address that, but let me just finish kindly for the viewers. Why public consultations? Even Florida Power and Light had to be involved, and the city of Miami and the university went back to data that showed where in the last 100+ years which section of Miami had never been flooded. And that was the location chosen for this NAP of the Americas data center.
Okay.
Florida Power and Light had to install 2 separate substations at both ends of the boundaries of the data center just to provide uninterrupted power. A separate cooling plant had to be established that continuously cooled millions of gallons of water, which had to be piped underground into the data center. The concrete pouring for this data center, the roof, I remember being told it was something like
Mike,
5,000 psi. Yes, go ahead.
Mike, what happened? We'll have to stick up in for now because I have to run to our next conversation. But, let's keep it going because obviously there is lots more to unpack. We have to still talk about the warfare part of it.
Coming back to that.
Yeah, but so in our next conversation, we try to get something going, if not next week after. Mike, all the best, man. Great to see you as always.
Thank you very much. The whole cyber warfare thing, you need to bring me on just to talk about that.
That'll be a whole different conversation.
But, for the purpose, it's a good investment. I think it is. But public consultations are lacking. And thirdly, most important.
Wow. Like the data center done sort of work on Mike. Yes, you see what went on there? Wait, what going on here? The Mike stick, Powers by, tell you. Incredible. I've seen it so many times. This kind of at the most opportune moment where something is going to be established, the person internet just fail, Oh boy. Mike, we'll talk soon. Let's touch base with Imtiaz Mohammed. He's stepping in next. That's right. We come back with more after these.
Jimmy Boo Super Serious July Sale. For seriously super-sized saving. Get the year's biggest savings yet on textile, curtains, home goods, and much more. Seriously, shop the Super Serious July Sale today at Jimmy Boo in Barataria and Port of Spain.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air. Like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. And the kids, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and is the real flavor of TNT.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chancotrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality. Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Tomitoma, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Imtiaz Mohammed joins me on the phone line. He's currently in Venezuela. As you know, Imtiaz is the PRO of the Concerned Muslims of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to thank Imtiaz for not only joining me, but for walking the talk, being there on the ground and seeing firsthand the impact of this earthquake and giving us the latest as it pertains to the relief efforts organized by the Concerned Muslims of TNT. Imtiaz, good morning to you. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Jay.
Imtiaz, firstly, before we get into the relief program, what's the current status, the current mood, the energy on the ground there in the devastation area in Venezuela?
Okay, so you're breaking up a little bit there, but what I'll say is that this experience and this earthquake, it's like could only be described as heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, emotionally overwhelming. The destruction is massive. It's spread over some of the most populated areas. Venezuela have some lovely beaches where the Caribbean Sea coastline boundaries with the mainland. And we have been able to drive to these places. We have been able to distribute packages, many food packages, to 500 families at least throughout the areas mainly affected. Some of the areas mainly affected is the most affected areas is La Guaira. And in that area there are towns called Carabaleda, Ciudad Caribe, Tagarina, Macuto, and so on. And, the people there, they were, some of them are very wealthy people that live in those areas, but at the same time, some of the places that I just mentioned, would have carried middle-income, lower-income people. And the middle and lower-income people are basically in tents, some tents set up by the government, some tents, you find them on the sidewalk and just on the side of the street and so on. They would have received maybe tents from certain individuals or humanitarian groups, as the case might be. Yes, it's
it's dire. I could only imagine, being there on the ground, seeing it in real time. What's the most urgent commodity? What's required right now from those most affected?
The thing about it, when you have, any disaster, whether it be earthquake, hurricane, etc., first thing takes place is rescuing people, reaching out to people who were probably stranded under rubble and so on in this case. And then, of course, food is always an immediate need. Water is an immediate need. And that is what we tried to do while we were here. And the other thing the people need is shelter. Once you could get the shelter, food, you could actually survive, for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks under the conditions that is upon you. And that will be the immediate need, with the long-term needs coming after, like reconstruction, clearing up the rubble, people returning to their places. In this case, would most likely just be land, because the destruction is so massive that it brought all the buildings down in some areas. And people would have now be out of jobs, because a lot of commercial places in those areas totally destroyed, and hotels and so on in the tourist part of the area also destroyed. So jobs is another issue to deal with. Income, people need income in order to get the needs that they require. And if you don't have income, then that's a different story again. They have to depend on the outside world need to come in and help the people here, because the state of this economy in Venezuela, with the sanctions and so on, I think is beyond what they can do for their people at this time, and the outside world need to come in and help.
Imtiaz, what are some of the items you were able to collect to take across to Venezuela, and who's your groundsman, who you're dealing with on the ground to ensure that it gets to the most vulnerable?
Okay, so first, our immediate project was coming to Venezuela. And before we came to Venezuela, we had contacts on the ground here through the Muslim community and Muslim business community. And they were able to put food packages together for us, value of about $30 each. And then we also did all the logistic charges, etc. We were able to put these packages together and distributed 500 packages here. At the same time, at home, we have made an appeal 2 days after the 2 days after the earthquake. So people are bringing stuff in. Basically, again, it will be food items. It will be hygiene items like soap and shampoo, women sanitary napkins, different sanitizers. All of these things are needed. We also ask for clothing at home, but we emphasize only new clothing because we have the experience when you take used clothing, abroad, people are, they don't find it acceptable to receive used clothing and so on. So we try to emphasize on the new clothing we are taking. And mattresses and, other general items that people may bring in that we will accept.
Yeah, MTS.
And also one of the main things we did in Jamaica, and we also have it on our list here, is building materials, because that will surely a necessity here. Things like lumber, things like galvanized blocks, like concrete blocks or the clay blocks and things like that.
I would imagine you have been well received, Imtiaz, yourself and the efforts out of Trinidad and Tobago and the Concerned Muslims of TNT organization.
Yes, we have been well received. Actually, before I came up here, I was in contact with the ambassador in Trinidad. He was very helpful in, arranging some of the logistics and on the ground here. And we want to thank him as well for doing that. The people are very, very grateful for what we have done. Some people are actually praying for us in Spanish, for being thankful that we are here to help and to assist and so on. Very, very thankful.
Kudos to you, Imtiaz, and the entire team, always stepping up and, safe travels back and continue the tremendous humanitarian work you have been doing for so many years, Imtiaz. All the best, and thanks for touching base this morning.
We accept.
That's right. Imtiaz Mohammed from the Concerned Muslims of TNT. Well done. Kudos to everyone who got involved. We take a pause and come back with your weather before the 7 a.m. news update.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with TrinRe for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinre.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from TrinRe. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinre.com today. TrinRe. Premier insurance coverage for less.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Before we get to the 7 a.m. news update, let's check in with Sigoni for our weather report for today, Tuesday.
Hi there, I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your daily dose of weather, where a more stable atmosphere has settled over the islands. And in case you missed it, there has been a significant reduction in the heavy rainfall we've experienced over the past few days. So major rivers and watercourses have returned to safe levels, while runoff from recent downpours has eased, allowing localized ponding and street flooding to drain away. But as the rain eases, we do have moderate concentrations of Saharan dust, which will begin to affect us. So expect hazy skies and reduced quality at times where the air is concerned. Now, if you're sensitive to dust or have respiratory conditions, please take the necessary precautions and limit prolonged outdoor exposure where possible. For the rest of today, we do expect passing showers in Tobago, and that's happening under partly sunny skies. In Trinidad, we anticipate sunny to partly cloudy pockets with hazy, at times breezy conditions, and only the slight chance of an isolated shower in just a few areas. Our winds may still gust at times, and that's particularly near any passing showers. Seas do remain moderate, yet while the weather has improved, sea conditions can still become locally agitated near showers. Remember also that spring tides remain in effect until Friday, and that's all due to the new moon phase. So fishermen, small craft operators, and sea bathers, and all other marine users, you are advised to continue exercising caution, especially during your high tide times. Now, after several days of soaking rain, we're finally getting a chance to dry out. And with that, it's a wrap on the forecast, and that's it from me.
Sigoni, sincere thanks. Let's get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. After 7, your calls live.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning, I'm Kay Marie Fletcher with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. The government is continuing to defend its proposed AI data centers as debate intensifies over the potential impact of the projects on water resources, electricity demand, and surrounding communities. The Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Prakash Prasad, says the developments could bring job opportunities, attract foreign exchange, and support Trinidad and Tobago's technology sector. He says while concerns are being raised, the projects are still subject to due diligence, environmental approvals, and regulatory requirements before any construction can begin. The comments come after the government signed a memorandum of understanding with U.S.-based organizations for possible large-scale AI infrastructure developments, including data centers with significant power demands. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander says the e-passport system is tentatively expected to be brought online by early 2027. Responding to questions during the launch of a barbering program at his El Dorado Road constituency office yesterday, Alexander said while the timeline is achievable, it requires significant work within the Immigration Division.
And if something comes to my attention that needs urgent attention, it will be dealt with. It happens to the minister, it happens to the public, however it is. So yes, a lot of communication took place, and it is necessary that we think that it should be done now because of what we have unearthed.
A Tobago police officer has been charged with wounding with intent after shooting a man in Bloody Bay on June 8th. PC Colonel Dates was granted $350,000 bail by a Scarborough magistrate. The officer was ordered to report twice a week to the Roxborough police station and to stay away from the victim. According to police, the victim, Osei Murray, was walking along Bloody Bay during harvest celebrations when he was shot. Dates, who was off duty, allegedly struck Murray about his body with a licensed firearm. Murray was warded for several days at Scarborough General Hospital with damage to one of his kidneys. He was discharged from hospital but is reportedly still in pain. This has been Headline News. Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Welcome back. It's that time to check in, see what's on your mind, get it off your chest. It's open forum time, 624-8721, 627-8658. Your calls are live. It's happening right now. Again, we go through some of the top stories. The big one, death threats against the top cop. Serious man, and he's not going to take that lightly. And clearly, people corn, as we say in TNT words and TNT terms, when you can't get in mash, people will kind of act up. So the commissioner, we want you to march on. But as always, within the context of law and order. Shogunas, good morning.
Pleasant good morning, Jason.
Welcome. I'm listening. Go right ahead.
All right, Jason, here's what. I don't really agree with anybody killing anybody, right? That's where the threats against the different authorities are concerned, right? But sometimes in life, we need to take our introspection as to how it is we're going about relevant to our portfolio and the privilege and the responsibility placed in our hands, right? And how we going about in the ruling of such things, right? And if people are oppressive, right, and if people are advantageous towards those who they are responsible for, right? I mean, it's only when you are cocoa in the sun you look out for rain, right? So, but to those who are outside there, maybe whatever authority that it may be, well, you check all yourself. Or you check all yourself as to what it is all you're doing, right? Honestly speaking, Jason, I don't think it have any merit to this $250,000 against Barry Pararat, and how he knows it's 250, and if he knows it's 250, then how come they hold nobody yet? I'm a very fair and liberal man, Jason, right? And I don't see that holding any water at all. All right. You have a good day, Jason.
All the best, Shogunas. Thanks for checking in, man. As always, Shogunas will usually be the first to get in. He has timed the line well and Kerry commenting. Pleasantville, boy, he beat you this morning, boy. Yes, man, Pleasantville.
Listen, I don't want him to believe, or the public to believe, that I am in any competition with Mr. Shogunas.
No, I understand.
He's in a class by himself. Listen, Jason, yesterday I made a comment about this. The reason I called back, this special accommodation should be given to people who are held under PDOs because they are innocent until proven guilty, in my opinion, and versus people who are incarcerated and convicted for some offense. They should not be housed together. But I didn't have what I'm hearing. I didn't have that in mind. What I'm hearing with the Hadiths being given this preferential treatment, that's not what I had in mind. So I hope that my comments didn't suggest that. Jason, I'm seeing where, for the 5th consecutive year, I believe, Trinidad and Tobago is the top contender in the Privy Council for matters being heard at the Privy Council. A population such as ours. It's interesting. These things cost a lot of money, Jason, and the Privy Council, it cannot be a poor person, I would say a poor person will not have access to the Privy Council for many reasons. Their pockets, and then on top of that, you see, we have to have visas to go to the UK now. This is something that I believe that we as a country should have a referendum on. I think our constitution should be changed to facilitate that. I believe that we should make a request to the King himself, because the Privy Council was supposed to be for British dependents, not for independent countries. And I believe from the time you become independent, you should have been removed, gracefully removed from there. You don't have a choice. So it's either we continue to the Privy Council, have both, have CCJ for poor people who can access it in Trinidad here in the Caribbean, and have the Privy Council for the well-to-do. Thank you, Jason.
All the best, Pleasantville. All the best, Shogunas, Pleasantville. Who's next? Who's on the line? Ola Hocketa, LH. Good morning.
Yes. Blessed morning, boy, GW, boy. King
Blessed
Wallace
morning.
Mark. It's Greenfield Park here.
Yes, man. Welcome.
Now, what I want to speak about is something that this question of the handling of the Hadiths, who are, obviously a big, it's a huge thing of public interest. White collar crime. I'm not suggesting anything here, right? I'm just saying, white collar crime is an issue also in this country, and I don't know what we're saying to the public and to all, because I believe the laws are for all, right? For lawbreakers. But when you have discrepancies where it comes to the treatment of issues, I mean, if this is true, where they were given preferential treatment, I mean, I don't know how you take that on board, Jason. I mean, for me, I mean, if myself or let's just say anyone, is detained, you will be facing some of the harsh or conditions, etc. That that will come with prison life. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
But I'm reading the article where it's suggesting that the management or mismanagement, where resources, where the prison staff is already, it's reported that they don't have staffing and PO2s. I think a PO2 is a sergeant, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. But then apparently a PO2 was assigned to this person. Apparently World Cup games are being watched. Roaming of the prison administration building, as well as apparently a visit from said wife. So I don't know if this all checks out to be true. This just shows as a nation, where do we go forward? How do we really address issues? Because management at every level, especially the handling of sensitive issues, especially when it regards to crime, or wanting to address white-collar crime. I don't know how the other persons that are incarcerated, like the TikTokers and all these other persons, I mean, you must feel aggrieved. I don't know, what's your thoughts on that, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on there, Locator, because, I mean, I'm watching the story again, based on at least some of the claims. It's confirmed that the top prison boss, commissioner of prisons, he's been sent on 4 months leave, so there are claims of football privileges, getting to stretch out, go in the yard 8:30 in the night, when obviously that's lockdown time. And, as much as many might debate or question why the Hadids are there, and there's a major concern around the country as to why these folks are even locked up under the PDO. The fact is, if you're locked up, you're locked up. I mean, jail is not home, is not Hyatt. And what's good for the goose must be good for the gander. I mean, we have heard of people having, well, we can't say heard of. We know men have access to phone, and people would have had access to different things over the years in the prison, but this takes it to a whole next level. I mean, football, again, I wasn't there, I don't know, but it's a serious concern, and it's one to read, yeah? I told you, my jaw dropped. It's on page 5 inside the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. We take one more from Faizabad. Good morning.
Brother Jason, morning.
Brother Faisal, welcome.
Yes, and so I want to touch on the issue of the CCJ, as one of your commentators did comment upon. Jason, I am all for the CCJ, yes? But until and unless that we can get CARICOM as a unified body, I will have my doubts. I don't think we are in a place where we can fully accept the CCJ. You have seen a number of Caribbean countries who would not have subscribed to the CCJ. So I think the talks need to expand in a more meaningful way, go on an educational drive, try to get CARICOM as a one unit, and I think we'll be heading in the right direction. The other thing is that Shagwanas. Shagwanas, not that I want to condemn what you said, but I think the information that was fed to the public with respect to the threat by Padarat, it came from within the walls of the security services. And the person who would have given the information, the person is incarcerated, Jason. So to suggest that, Barry Padarat is now siphoning up some plan to create public stir and confusion. I reject that totally. Unless and until that Shagwanas could prove me differently. I could only go what was printed and what was read, and we are guided by that in most instances. The person who sang the Calypso I was talking about, Jason, I don't know if you did.
I found it.
You found? And tell me, what's your honest opinion on it?
You know what? Let's check in on it tomorrow. I want to bring Diego Martin in, but I want to thank you for bringing that into my spectrum. And I don't even know what to start, boy. I don't even know what to start, Faizabad, to be quite honest. So I will give you. Let's talk about it tomorrow. I want to give Faizabad a chance. Diego Martin a chance to get in on the program. Diego Martin.
Yes, it seems that I have had plenty issues with connectivity, but I get through.
You're inside.
let me first congratulate all the SES students who is going into secondary school. They have been gifted a computer to progress, and I hope they use it. And that is inclusive of the duendes and the parrots and the hyenas. The second thing, from my vantage, no, at this time to the CCJ. I'll give you 4 points. First of all, we had a former Attorney General who basically, they said, lied on an affidavit, and he is appointed a judge in Eastern Caribbean, and he could become a judge on the CCJ. The second point is, we had an independent senator who was discussing issues in Parliament with judges. No investigation take place. We had the Marcia Caesar issue. You had 2 senior judges on the JLC who basically vacated when the appeal court said, hey, something is wrong with the JLC with Richard Biting. And the fourth one is Nolan Brew, an appeal court judge who, during his departure from the appeal court, said during the state versus Lennox Phillips, aka Abubakar, 2 of the judges might have been complicit or frightened to give a judgment that he believed that variance with the evidence.
Diego Martin.
And he picked up that fella at that point in time. I think it's thing.
Diego,
those 4 points.
Diego, where's Stay on the line with me. Let me just challenge you for a moment.
Let me
ask you this, Diego Martin.
Appointing CCJ judge around all the CARICOM countries, it's fraud and blemish at this time.
Diego,
until we fix it.
Diego, stay on the line up. Stay on the line with me now. Let me ask you this. Stay on the line. Let me ask you this, right? What you're saying is spot on. I can't deny what you're saying. And clearly, when we look at the judicial system globally, there are issues in every jurisdiction. My question is, how the CCJ is applicable, and is the court that will make a pronouncement on the Secretary General that, of course, our PM, and, she would have raised a concern concerning, CARICOM and the reappointment of the said General Secretary. And, CCJ will be everybody say, yeah, for CCJ to make the pronouncement on that. But at the same time, when it comes to our final court, the CCJ not ready yet. I don't understand we have to stay consistent, because I try to figure out this colonial mindset. We still, as an independent country, as a republic, depending on England Privy Council to be our final court by Diego Martin?
The 1976 Constitution was basically the colonial sort of thing. It was just a cut and paste. We're changing Trinidad with the British and all kind of thing. So we have to stick with that until our mindset comes out of that.
No, but answer me, how come CCJ is applicable for the pronouncement on the reappointment of the CARICOM Secretary General, but it's not the place now? The CCJ good for that, but it's not good for the...
I've said we are not ready for it because our choices of judges are questionable, and those people going to be sitting on the CCJ. The CCJ, that part of it was part of the CARICOM Treaty. Use that. She can't go outside that, because it's not part of the treaty. She can't go to the Privy Council to have that vetted. Mm-hmm. You understand? She was consistent.
You're boxed in. Yeah, I know you're boxed in, but what I'm saying is that we all celebrated that, yes, CCJ will make a decision on it, but then now, on the same breath, we're saying CCJ not ready yet because people compromise.
How can we basically have a judge?
But you see, mindset, I'm thinking that, listen, I'm thinking the mindset remains, Diego Martin.
We point him in the Eastern Caribbean, another jurisdiction.
But Diego, why in 2026 the mindset still remains that we have to go to England for a judgment, and we trust in their judgment more than our own judgment of our own people? We don't trust ourselves then. We're not ready?
We have not done the things we have not chosen people with integrity and honestly to man the system. That is why we're in this problem.
Well, all right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
until we fix it, until we could say judges are impeccable. We have our former president. She was doing all kind of thing with the merit list. She has not accounted for it. Mm-hmm. Look, the current Criminal Bar Association president, he say he infringed, right? But he was one of them who said the man was a good boy, and he lied in our affidavits. So how can we talk with a forked tongue
Well, all right. Well, I mean, I want to thank you for the commentary, because I was asking just to kind of really dive a little deeper now, to kind of get a little more out of you. I want to thank you, Digo, for checking in. I didn't hear from Mr. Digo Martin for quite a while. Always coming in with some sharp commentary. I mean, I'm just asking the questions, really, because from my vantage point, I'm saying, we going to England, as Pleasantville said, it's not an easy undertaking. Expensive. You have to have a coin to be able to step up to the Privy Council. But ourselves, Jamaica, a couple other places still, that's the final court. And the irony is that the CCJ is physically located here in Port of Spain, right around the corner. I could walk to it after the show at 8 o'clock. That's mind-blowing to me. Anyway, let's get ready. The Digipreneur, have no fear, he's up next. And the Digipreneur is coming in today with some company. Yes, it's Karen Rose alongside one of his colleagues. I'll give some details when we come back after the break.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain, so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and Transitions. Less strain, more focus. Your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Have no fear, the Digipreneur is here. Karen Rose joins me on the Zoom line, and today he is in great company. We have the CEO of Sandana, Monique Powell. She's here alongside Karen Rose, and today we are treating with the new digital U.S. account and Visa debit card actually for the Caribbean. Monique, Karen, welcome. Great to see you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to be here, Jason. And yes, we had to bring some company because, when we get the tools that we are about to talk about today, these are the types of tools that have real power, and it's mandatory to come like infrastructure. So I definitely had to bring Monique on for this because we wanted to hear everything straight from the horse's mouth. So Monique, thank you for taking the time and joining us today on the Morning Brew.
Absolutely, pleasure to be here.
Monique, how is this card going to change the game, and how does Sandana weigh into all of this?
All right, so let me start first with what Sandana is. So Sandana is a borderless banking platform primarily for people who earn online. So if you're a freelancer, a remote worker, content creator, you work from Upwork for a client, or you have a YouTube channel that you earn money from, we provide you with a virtual US bank account that comes with its own account number, routing number, etc., that allows you to accept ACH transfers domestically in the US, wire transfers, etc. You get a Sandana card that can be used anywhere that Visa is accepted anywhere in the world. And for moments when you need cash real quick from your account, you can walk into any MoneyGram location worldwide, generate a code quickly in the Sandana app, and just withdraw cash directly from your account. So we're providing all these people with direct access to US banking infrastructure that will make their lives a lot easier in many ways.
And you're getting the money is recorded in the system in US currency, or let's say pounds or Canadian, whatever the payment platform is, the option.
So everything comes in US dollars, and you record it there in US dollars, right? Oh,
fantastic. Well, yeah, I mean, US, Karen Rose, I mean, clearly nobody in the Caribbean, that is music to people's ears. Karen, this is revolutionary. You've been talking about this kind of momentum, and clearly now there's a platform in real time to make it happen.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, let me throw this in. The big conversation right now is the data centers that are coming in, and I mentioned this because I need people to understand that we are halfway through 2026. The world is going to look a lot different. The tools of the trade, the things that we need, it's going to be very different than we are accustomed to. So when a platform like Sandana comes out, you know, being developed by one of our Caribbean sisters, Monique's out of Jamaica, she knows the problems that we face as anybody who is trying to build in the digital world. One of the major problems that we have had across the region is how do we get paid internationally from clients around the world? How do we hold a currency that makes sense, that we can use, that still has value? Because obviously we know when things get converted to TT, our money is essentially trapped. We suffer with a lot of limitations because of our unique situation. So anybody right now who is earning remotely or getting paid, or somebody, a friend or family that needs to send them money, being able now to access your Sandana account, keep the currency in US dollars and have that virtual card, that is critical infrastructure that anybody needs moving forward in this digital time that we are in.
So Monique, this platform, it is live. How does one, you have piqued many interest this morning, how does one sign up? How does one, jump and become part of the platform? Monique? I don't know if
I lost you briefly for a few seconds. Could you say that, please?
Yeah, I was just saying that I know that it's live. Everything on the platform is live. So you have piqued many interest, including my interest. How does one join up? How does one sign up? How does one get involved so they could start to receive the money and have this virtual card?
Right, so signing up is fairly easy. You go to sendana.com and click on create an account. From there, you will be required to verify your identity. So you do need some form of government issued ID. A driver's license or a passport is recommended. And that ID verification process is super quick and simple, takes an average of about 3 minutes. Once you complete that, your account is usually approved within about 10 minutes. Or you get feedback on approval within about 10 minutes. And then from there, you have your banking information that you can get started with. And this allows people they can connect this bank account to PayPal, which is a huge pain point for a lot of people in terms of withdrawing their money. You can connect it to Upwork if you work with clients through Upwork, or if you just want to give the banking details directly to a client that you're working with, somebody you're doing business with, you can do that as well. So this is a way that you can tap into that US banking infrastructure, hold your dollars in US currency, and spend easily whenever you need to.
Yeah, and again, Karen, when we consider the creatives, many who work online, as you would have rightfully identified in many a conversation, receiving money would have been a problem. Here it is, Sandana is solving that particular problem, Monique and her team. What's going to be done in terms of spreading the word, getting more people to be aware of this amazing service? Because, obviously, we have the conversation today, so that's a good look. But what else is in the pipeline to ensure that everyone knows about this service and Sandana is on the tip of your tongue?
Yeah, well, initially, what I've been noticing is that a lot of people who have been coming through to us, it has been largely organic, a lot of word of mouth. But, of course, we will be having our own activities planned in terms of marketing, in terms of talking to people through the people they already know and trust and listen to, and just letting as many people across the region as possible, because this platform was largely built with people across the Caribbean in mind. So we'll be doing as much as we can to make sure that right across the Caribbean we drive awareness of what we're building here at Sandana.
And Jason, I want to throw in one thing that. Again, one of the reasons why I talk about the platform Sandana and other platforms like it is because when we're talking about doing digital business, when we're introducing remote work or helping people understand that they're no longer limited by the local job market and they can now tap into the global job market, one of the key points is always that people don't think about is how I'm going to get paid. So what happens is people get the client, they get the job, and then when it comes time to receive the money, they're like, wait a minute, how the company pays, I can't actually receive that money because companies don't ever really wire transfer payments to people. They usually send it through a PayPal or they have the ACH. They do some wire transfers as well, but the problem has always been, especially in Trinidad, if we get a wire transfer then it gets converted to TT, that money doesn't have as much value as if it was another currency because we know we can't do too much unless we have another currency. So this is critical for us moving forward in this digital space.
Amazing. Obviously, Monique, how many subscribers do you have thus far, and what parts of the region? I know you could see on the back end the data. Trinidadians, Vincentians, Grenadians. Walk me through who's on board with Sandana.
Yeah, so we launched about 6 weeks ago, and yesterday we crossed the 2,000 mark, so 2,000 registered users as of yesterday. And we have users from right across the Caribbean, but the majority of users are from Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago.
Excellent. And I know Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago is a place with lots of creatives, people who are literally, their work is online. And as Karen always says, you need to get paid. Karen Rose, exciting times, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, again, it is very different times. What worked for us yesterday is not going to get us moving forward. So these are the new tools of the trade. When we're talking about doing business online, even if you have friends or family that are looking to send you money, right? This is something that you definitely can use because you're opening up a personal account. You're getting the ACH payments. You're getting access to PayPal. I was just setting up a friend last night. We set up her Sandana account, connected it to her PayPal account, and she is somebody who never thought herself to be a remote worker, but now she's working teaching jobs in 3 different countries, but she's also a lawyer as well, so she has clients in different aspects of the region, and Sandana has now given her the ability to receive the money through PayPal, but then hold that U.S. currency. So it's just really interesting, and it's really good to see people, even in traditional platforms like teaching and lawyers, still need to have infrastructure like this to be able to receive those payments from their clients around the region and around the world.
You said something, and let me bring Monique to probably give the deeper dive. So one could use the platform for remittance, and you could send money to a loved one if they, people might be a little bit low, they want to get a top up. Could the platform also handle remittance?
Yes, absolutely. So while it was not necessarily built specifically for that use case, if you have somebody in the US, they can put money from their US bank account into your Sandana US account, and you can just go and withdraw it at MoneyGram, or you can use your Visa card and spend wherever you want to. So absolutely.
Fantastic. Again, give me the information online so that everyone could follow all the platforms for Sandana.
Right. So that's sandana.com. And on the socials, we are Sandana Global on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, X.
Excellent. Monique Powell, congratulations. Well done. Jamaica, a place and out of many one people. Beautiful space, beautiful island. Karen, closing remarks, my friend. Take us home.
Everybody should go and sign up for the account. Everybody needs to have access to a U.S. account, especially in Trinidad, given all of our limitations. It takes you 5 minutes. I've been getting all of my clients signing up with Sandana because, again, having that access to U.S. banking infrastructure, especially in this digital space, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are a freelancer, or if you are a remote worker or looking for remote work, do not wait to land a client. Do not wait to get the job. Set up the infrastructure, set up the accounts first, so that when you get the clients and when you get the jobs, you're not fussing or worried about how you are going to get paid. These things are already in place. And most importantly, Sandana is Caribbean built with us and our problems in mind. So go check it out and let us know. Let us know, because the feedback is needed as well.
Karen Rose, Monique Powell, thank you so much for checking in on this Tuesday morning. All the best, guys.
Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. Great stuff. I mean, listen, this Digipreneur segment, it is so informative. Big information, you know. Always, I mean, absolutely free. And once you're able to take heed, you apply yourself, you could only come out on the winning side. So I want to thank Karen Rose for the commitment. He's all the way in Thailand, but the man checks in every single Tuesday. He's also on Freedom every Friday on radio. So he's a good man to follow. Lots of great information to help you step up and level up. Yes, with that being said, conversations on cancer next. We get a chance to touch base again with Dr. Vasan Basdio, primary health physician. Conversations on cancer next.
Breaking news. Something serious is sweeping the nation. Get seriously supersized savings on textiles, home goods, and much more in Jimmy Abood's Super Serious July Sale. Shop now at Jimmy Abood in Barataria and Port of Spain.
Love eating spicy food, but soon after, that familiar discomfort begins. Heartburn, acid reflux, and bloating. Introducing Peptica Gel, formulated with aluminum hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, and simethicone to help neutralize excess acid. It's sugar-free with no chalky aftertaste and a pleasant orange flavor. Peptica Gel works fast to relieve heartburn, acid reflux, gas, and bloating, so you can feel comfortable again and get back to enjoying life. Peptica Gel, get the relief you need today. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Slam 100.5 FM and Amplio are bringing football fans together for the ultimate Friday football rhyme. Get ready for Amplio Front Row Fridays. Your front row seat to every match, every moment, every Friday. From June 26th to July 19th, the Slam crew hits different sports bar and football hotspots across Trinidad with live broadcasts, football trivia, crowd challenges, predictions, giveaways, DJs, vibes, and level football energy. Catch the Slam announcers broadcasting live from 7 to 9 p.m. every Friday. Check out the Amplia promo girls and giveaways on location, interactive games, fan moments, and non-stop excitement. Front Row Fridays, powered by Amplia and Slam 100.5 FM, progressive and unstoppable.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Dr. Vasan Basdio joins me on the Zoom line this morning, a primary health physician. Conversations on cancer, and we are treating this month with Sarcoma Awareness Month, a very important conversation, and a cancer that is less known. It's not one that really, for many, including myself, many hearing about this for the first time. I heard about it, but I don't know much, so I look forward really to this very informative conversation. Doc, great to see you, man. Good morning.
Always a pleasure, Jason. Good morning to you and the viewing and listening public. Look, this is exactly why at the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, we take great pride and passion in getting the information out here to you. Now, when we hear the term cancer for women, we immediately think breast cancer, cancer of the uterine cavity, endometrial, cervical, ovarian, and colorectal. For men, we think prostate, lung, those top three cancers. And that is right. You know, look, there are the top three cancers. They account for majority of the cases of cancers. But cancer can occur anywhere in the body. Cancer literally is any cell or group of cells and a tissue deciding that, look, its cell cycle, its clock cycle, instead of going from 1 to 12, it decides that it's going from 1 to 1,000. It keeps multiplying, it keeps replicating, and it becomes now an entity that can spread beyond its usual, let's say, confined, so it spreads from the lungs into the bones, into the muscles and stuff. Now, while these top 3 for men and women, according to the latest cancer registry report, we must not ignore the small ones, the minor ones, the lower percentage cancers. And for persons who do suffer from these sarcomas, Jason, and to everyone, this is their reality. They don't want to hear that this is a rare cancer. They don't want to, this is their lived perception of it. We have to raise the awareness and be able to prevent, recognize, treat, early detection, and offer the best treatment for these sarcomas. So if I may dive in, the word sarcoma sounds very confusing, and it's uncommon. Again, this cancer accounts for just 1% of all cancers in adults. But here's why it's important to us as family physicians and pediatricians and those taking care of the children, because in the younger population, this actually accounts for a significant portion of cancers. We know that children don't tend to get the cancers of lifestyle diseases so much, but these sarcomas account for almost 15% of all childhood cancers. So where does this cancer develop? Sarcomas. In fact, this one, there's over 70 different types of sarcomas because they fall into different parts of the body. 2 broad parts of the body generally. One is the soft tissue of the body, and the other is the bone of the body. So these soft tissue sarcomas of it, like the bodily structures, like your ligaments, your cartilage, fat tissue, your muscle tissue, these account for 60% in the arms and legs are accounted for by this soft tissue sarcomas. And then the other type of cancer is the bone cancer, or what we call primary bone cancer, or osteosarcomas. And again, for the listening public, viewing public, the most common sites for this osteosarcoma is typically found in the long bones, so in the knee joints and in the upper arm. These are where we frequently diagnose teenagers with osteosarcoma.
So let me ask.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Basdio, is there any correlation between what's the correlation between what gets one to the phase? Is it just the unlucky draw, as it was? Sometimes in life you get something might just come your way, or is it based on an injury? I'm trying to figure out cancer of the muscle, cancer of the bone. What will cause sarcoma?
It is still something, Jason, that the medical world is doing a lot of research into. There are some genetic predispositions, but unlike breast cancer and some other forms of cancer where there's a strong genetic link, osteosarcoma, thankfully, isn't as strongly genetic as these other types of cancer. And, here in Trinidad, we say you get a laugh, you get fall down and someone hit their knee, or they have something growing on their shin. They say, man, just rub it off, put some sort of candle, as we say in local parlance. And this is something that we have to really be aware of the warning signs, because soft tissue is flexible and they can actually grow quite large before it actually causes any discomfort or functional issues. So they often hide in plain sight, as we say. So to those listening on, if you have a new or changing lump, especially the primary sign of a soft tissue sarcoma is a lump under the skin. And medical evaluation is very crucial if the lump is deep in the muscle and it's growing, expanding over time. About the size of a golf ball especially, you definitely want to get that checked out. So that's more the soft tissue sarcomas. Now, if you're having bone pain, persistent bone pain, because the classic symptom for bone sarcomas is deep. It's a very deep, persistent pain in a bone or a joint. And unlike typical muscle strains or growing pains, the discomfort does not improve with rest. And most persons frequently report that it's worse at night. And of course, if you have things growing on the back, in the abdomen, these can cause a persistent feeling of fullness, bloating. These are the symptoms that we must look out for. So, like I said, we have the 2 types. It's something that you don't just sit with. Have these changing lumps and bumps and aches and pains. do get attention for it early.
What's the treatment like, Dr. Basdio? Is it surgery? Is it chemo? What's the treatment regimen?
Yeah, sure. So unlike other cancers where because they're so common, we screen for them, sarcomas isn't a cancer that we screen for because it's not something that we seek often, and there's no really true screening test to say, okay, do I go and take an x-ray of every bone in my body? Do an ultrasound from head to toe? That actually x-rays are harmful if done in without moderation and these things like that. So diagnosis and always begin with investigation. In carpentry, they say measure twice before you cut, right? And the little plumbing woodworking I did, I always remember that. And that applies to us when doctors, when we speak about sarcomas, because this is one of the cancers where it's very important to do your imaging, your x-rays for the bones, ultrasounds for the soft tissue. And if that soft tissue is even bigger, then we go to things like MRIs and CT scans. And this is why, because a biopsy in this instance can actually be harmful in a primary care setting. This is where the specialist comes in, especially our interventional radiologists or surgeons or oncologists or pediatric oncologists, because a poorly placed biopsy can actually spread the cancer cells into the surrounding healthy tissues. So it's very, very important for diagnosis there, Jason.
Well, I'll tell you this, Dr. Basdio, I want to thank you so much for the information. We will stick a pin for now, and let's probably continue because I know it's an entire month of awareness, and that's what the conversations are about, to bring that level of awareness so that we are well equipped and knowledgeable really on the facts. All the best, Doc.
Yes. Thanks a lot, and all the best to you too, Jason.
Same to you, Dr. Vasan Basdio, very brilliant doctor from the Southland, touching base with us via the conversations on cancer. So in case you don't know, Thursday is World PR Day, and to share some details, we welcome Joel Moniquette and Marie Hall to give us details as to what are the plans and really to have that deeper conversation. World PR Day, that's right, July 16th, Thursday. Full details on the way.
Wonderful journey we're on. Each stage is unique. And at Tata Life, we not only understand, but also appreciate that you'll have different needs at different times. So trust us to protect you and yours with our comprehensive range of financial planning solutions to ensure that you never, ever have to worry. To learn more, contact a Tata Life advisor or visit tatalife.co.tt today. For the many stages of your life, Tata Life, a member of the Answer McCall Group.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the life. Log on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
The Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, teaching the truth about God's people, God's plans, and the secrets of God, all written within the pages of the Holy Bible, which is the Word of God. Watch The Hidden Truth every Thursday at 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. on CNC3.
Well, I want to welcome an organization that's been around since the early 70s, but we have a new executive, and we're getting a chance, TNT, to meet with this new executive. We welcome from Pratt, Joel Moniquette, the Director of Professional Development, and Marie Hall, Director of Membership. Welcome, guys. World PR Day, it's carded for Thursday, and we're having a timely discussion to put the nation on alert, as it were, to the important work being done. Welcome and happy PR Day in advance.
Thank you for having us.
Tell me about the new executive, because it's Marie would have mentioned this it's been around since the early 70s, but it's a new team. Walk me through that process and what are plans in place. What's the ethos really of this new executive? I'll probably start with Marie and then we'll go across to Joel.
Sure. Okay, so we were elected in April, and our executive is led by Ms. Denise Caesar, and we have members on our committee span from events, from digital media, finance, event planning, and basically this new executive, we're all about strategy. We're all about wanting to enhance communication professionals throughout Trinidad and Tobago and even beyond within the Caribbean. So one of the first things the executive did, we just completed a survey. It concluded on July 5th. And some of the information from that survey, we would have used that to tailor our value propositions for our members or even people who are thinking about joining our executive. So some of the top challenges, participants, over 100 participants would have indicated that misinformation was definitely a #1 challenge. The AI disinformation as well, as well as when we asked, what would you like the executive to offer you? And a lot of it spoke to professional development and training, workshops, networking opportunities. And that is definitely where Joel will come in.
That's right. New executive, new energy, Joel?
Yeah, of course. As you know, when a new executive steps into place, we always say, the persons before have set the stage, and we are just going to take it to another limit now. So our main focus in 3 directions where we want to strengthen our membership. Of course, professional development, where PR professionals and communications, they will be able to learn more with master classes, seminars, and of course networking sessions, where you will have the opportunity to meet new professionals as well as engage in these persons. So sometimes you struggle in the areas of communications, and it's not to say that you don't have the help. These people we are forming that community in order to help you get through all those situations.
That's right. Professional development, and of course Thursday being an important day, we'll get to some of the plans, but your role and function as it pertains to Director of Membership, probably in a brief way, could you let me know what that role entails?
It entails encouraging people to become a member of Pratt.
So do you actually reach out to people?
I do. Yeah. I reach out to people. I chat with them, let them know some of the benefits, because people, they tend to ask, what is in it for me?
Yeah, well, most trainees will ask that question.
Well, all right. So first, it starts about being a part of a credible organization. We are the national organization for public relations within Trinidad and Tobago. We are also setting the stage for building that networking community. We mentioned professional development in terms of that training, because that is something that a lot of professionals, they want, they need. And we started early as students. So if I go through my membership categories, we have students, early professionals, people who are already in the industry, and we're even branching off to affiliates, marketing professionals, advertising professionals, digital media, entrepreneurs. So we are welcoming everyone to understand the role of strategic communication, because we have to be able to build that trust. You don't just say, okay, I'm going to do it via BAPS. No, you plan. You strategize.
Yeah, well said, well said. World PR Day is carded for Thursday. What's happening on the Trinidad leg of this? Because clearly it's a global celebration.
It is.
But what are we doing on the local end to bring more awareness?
So first of all, this year's theme is the golden age of strategic PR. And then what we're trying to achieve is just not only about communications, but the knowledge around PR. Public relations, a lot of persons think that it's only media coverage, but we really want to get to know that, it's the strategy behind it. Relations comes from the term relationships, and it's all about forming those relationships with your partners, your stakeholders, your communications. So at Pratt, what we are doing is a digital first campaign where we are able to go step by step, showing persons within the week how to communicate, how do you get in terms of PR, public relations, your communications with your other organizations, to get them to a better level.
You know what's important, Marie, and I guess hopefully when we touch base again, we could have more time to expand. I find we still lack in Trinidad and Tobago lots of big entities, corporate entities, when there is any kind of shortcoming, as it were, some kind of public fallout, some kind of controversy, crisis. The crisis is, it seems like there is silence. No one steps out, no one grabs the bull by the horn, really. And that's to me, that's your PR team need to step up. That's when you need to communicate. How are we getting any better in terms of addressing crisis, addressing when it hits the fan?
I believe so, especially with training, because you don't want to make a statement without getting the information. And that is something that you read things, you see stuff on social media, and you say, okay, I heard XYZ, but if you are not doing that fact checking, because I have a journalist background, so that is very important to me. So in terms of, yes, it may appear that these people are taking very long to respond, and you can start off with a holding statement. So these are some steps that definitely in training, through the Public Relations Association, that is something we will cover. You could start off with a holding statement before you just go on and execute. This is our response. Let people know, hey, we are aware of the situation. This is what we intend to do. We want to get all the details before we make a statement.
Well, I'm glad to know that there's improvement, because you're in the field, and I trust your guidance in that regard, because sometimes I wonder, but people waiting to hear something and, silence. But as you rightfully said, due diligence, doing investigation, you want to make sure your statement is accurate. How does one follow, join up? Well, I'll get to membership in a bit, but Joel, in terms of just the social media details, how does one follow what you'll do online?
So we are active on all social media platforms, so that is Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Our handles are Public Relations TT. And what we're doing is making sure that we have a digital presence. So our team will always have some assets going out so that you can follow, get that information, and take it back to your organizations as well.
Joel, Monica, touching base. Maria, let you have the final say. I know you reach out for membership, but you have piqued someone's interest. They want to reach out to you. How do they become a member? What's the requirement?
You can, for starters, you can have a background in communication or not, but you can visit our website at publicrelationstt.org, and the information starts from our pricing from students, $100, and right now we have a public relations special for returning members and new members.
Excellent. And as you said, Joel, Thursday's celebration will be an online kind of activation, as
digital
it were.
campaign. So look out for it. It's going to be strong, and it's really going to get that communications out there to you. I
also want to mention that we are also congratulating the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. They will be launching their public association within their country, and when we met, we spoke about collaborating further. So Pratt is really taking a regional approach for public relations beyond Trinidad and Tobago.
Well done, and hello to our friends there in Guyana, the land of many waters. Yes, Guyana. Marie and Joel, thank you so much for touching base and for spending some of the morning with me and the audience.
Yes,
as we look to wrap things up, let me put into the public domain, the Tuco election was done fair, free, and coming out of the elections last Sunday, the incumbent remains in his seat. Ainsley King, re-elected president of Tuco. That's Ainsley. That's the smile of a winning candidate there. Look at that smile. I mean, if we could bottle that smile and sell it, we make our money. Well done to Ainsley King. He remains in his role and function as president of Tuco, the Trinbago Unified Calypsonians organization. Congrats to Ainsley King. Probably Ainsley, we could now have a conversation. We didn't get a chance to touch base at all during the build-up to the campaign. So hopefully we'll have Ainsley on the program soon. With that being said, have a great day. It's been a tremendous program as always. God spare. I'm back for more tomorrow. Until then, have a safe and productive day, TNT.